451 uniform.
1451 uniform, Winston Ground.
1451 uniform at the flight school with Quebec. Request taxi for takeoff, VFR Northwest.
This is 1451 uniform, runway 22, taxi via taxiway Foxtrot, crossway 15.
Runway 22 via Foxtrot, cross 15, 1451 uniform. All right, so now we take the brakes off. We give it some power to get it moving. Now we're going to have to give it a good amount of power because we're in a little hole here. Go ahead and push it in. Keep going. A little bit more. There she goes. Now reduce the power a little. Pull it out some. And we want to push with the right pedal to start turning to the right. Of course, you know there's brakes on the pedals. We primarily don't want to use the brakes any more than we have to. So we're going to move our feet the way we want the airplane to go, and they told us to go this way. All right. Now we're clear on the right-hand side of the runway, and we want to look out there and make sure nobody's coming that way either. Now hopefully air traffic control kind of made sure nobody was coming in here for us. But the one thing to always remember when you're in an airplane, and we're just going to follow this yellow line. So push to the right. As a pilot in command of an airplane, it's ultimately your responsibility to ensure you're not going to get in any kind of hazardous situation. Okay? So using your feet, kind of look out ahead of you, kind of note which way the front of the airplane's moving, and simply push your feet the way you want it to move. There you go. That's all it is to steering it on the ground. And you want to do your best to try to keep that yellow line right up under the nose of the airplane until it's time to do something different. Okay? So we're going to stop here before we actually go out on this section of the taxiway. And we're going to do our systems check and run up. Okay? So go ahead and flip your page over. And of course we got the brakes. And what I recommend, kind of read through it and say everything that you're doing. That helps you remember what you're actually doing.
Winston Ground, Cirrus 416 Kilo Sierra.
So we want to check our cabin doors and windows.
I'm over at the signature.
My door's closed and locked on this side. And you want to verify that yours is closed and locked as well. Okay. Everybody's belted in, seated in. Okay. So next we want to check our flight control system. We want to pull it back and forth, left and right a couple of times, ensuring the controls work the way they're supposed to and they feel smooth. There you go. So remember, when you turn left, the left aileron should angle up, the right aileron should be angled down. When you reverse, they should reverse with it. There you go. Good. Okay, now we're ready to go to the next level, which is checking our elevator trim. Of course, that's this wheel, and you can see that little bar in the middle, how it moves. Okay. We kind of want it about in that position for takeoff. Okay. Main reason we have a takeoff position is so we know how the airplane should react every time we put it in the air. Okay, we go to the next level. Our flight instruments and radios. Our radios are all set up. We want to note our flight instruments, that they're all set up and indicating the way they should. Okay, you'll notice this here reads different than what our compass reads. So we want to use this little knob, push it in, and set it up to read about the same thing. All right. So that's ensuring all our instrumentation is working as it should. Okay. Now we're ready to check the engine out. So we got our brakes on. Go ahead and push the mixture all the way back in again. Then increase the throttle until you see about 1,700 right there. Okay, good. Now we want to do our suction gauge, which is over on the upper left, and it should be about 5 plus or minus 1 or 2. And that's this little gauge right here. We want to go ahead and check our magnetos. So take the ignition key, turn one click to the left position. Well, notice the RPM changed, about 50. Turn back to the right to the both position, and it should come back about where it was. Now turn 2 left to the right position.
Take off to the north.
Okay, about the same, and then back to both again.
Traffic 3716 Alpha, Winston,
all right.
ground, runway 33.
So now we know our magneto system's working as it's supposed to.
November and Alpha, the 33.
We want to go ahead and turn our carburetor heat on. So pull it out all the way, and you'll notice a slight change in RPM, and that's exactly what it should do. Then we want to take the throttle, pull it all the way out to the stop, so that we see where the airplane's actually going to idle at. Okay? Good. It's still running, it's still smooth. Turn your carburetor heat back off. And then we want to increase the throttle back to about 1,000. There we go. So that's everything that we did. Now we're ready to go to the runway itself and prepare for takeoff. Okay? So we relax our brakes, and we're going to follow up here to the edge of the runway. Now these lines across the runway are called your hold short lines. In other words, you don't want to cross them until ATC says you can. Now we set up the takeoff itself. So, we're going to go ahead and give it 10 degrees of wing flap because we have passenger in the back seat. So we're going to give it a little bit of assistance. About there. We want to make sure our friction lock is set where we want it. It should be tight enough that it can't just easily move, but not so tight that you have to fight it to move it. Carburetor heat is off. Okay? We want to go ahead and turn on our landing light. This just makes us more visible. Okay? Our transponder is still on 1200 as it should be. And our direction is roughly about exactly where it should read. Okay? Now we're going to switch over to the tower and request a takeoff. Okay? So what we're going to do when we get in the middle of the runway, we're going to apply full throttle, smoothly controlling with our feet. When we hit about 55 of indicated airspeed, we're just smoothly going to raise the front of the airplane up and let it fly off the ground. Okay, and we're going to look for a climb of about 75. All right. Ready for all that? I know it's been a little while. Okay. Winston Tower, 1451 uniform, runway 22, ready for takeoff.
Says 1451 uniform, runway 22, clear for takeoff.
Runway 22, cleared for takeoff, 1451 uniform. All right, we'll take our brakes off. Nobody's coming in on the runway. Nobody's on the other side. Okay, so flip that over now to the next page, and you'll see there's our normal takeoff.
185 Yankee, Winston ground, runway 22 via taxi. Way Foxtrot, crossway 15.
So we're going to center ourselves up here. Deal with the afternoon sun. There we go. And make sure everything's like we want to see it. It's all looking pretty good. All right. Ready? All right. Go ahead and brakes off. Push the throttle all the way in. All the way to the forward. You can feel us using our feet. There you go.
Ground base 16 Alpha, ready for takeoff, 33.
Okay, speed's looking good. Engine's looking good. And pull back and relax. Okay, push forward a little bit.
Drop pace at 3716 Alpha, roger. You said you was going south, which?
All right, we're going to go ahead and take our flaps out now.
Northbound 16 Alpha.
Drop pace 16 Alpha, runway 33, right turn approved, clear for takeoff.
16 Alpha, clear for takeoff.
And we let it increase on speed.
Uniform, you going northbound also?
5-1 uniform be going northwest out towards Pilot Mountain.
The 5-1 uniform, roger. Right turn out approved. Just remain clear to the departure corridor.
Right turn out approved. Remain clear 33 departure corridor. 5-1 uniform. All right, so now just kind of relax, Ben. See what the airplane's doing. There we go. All right, so we're about 700 feet off the ground, and we're going to turn that away. So give it a little left
Refuel
turn.
1, hold short, runway 15 via taxiway Foxtrot.
There you go. And let's continue turning a little bit. And let's roll the wings level while it continues to climb. Now we're going to level off at about 2,500 feet. So when we get there, what we're going to do is we're going to push the front of the airplane down for a level attitude. All right, so go ahead and start pushing forward. Now you're going to feel a good amount of pressure. There you go. We're going to let the airspeed build up a bit. Now grab your throttle and reduce it down to about 2,300. Keeping that forward pressure, so pull it on out. Okay. Now feel how much pressure you're having to hold there. Push it forward so it doesn't climb. Push it. There you go. Now roll that wheel forward so you don't have to push it. There you go. Feel how it kind of relaxed in your hands? That's trimming. Now, sometimes you got to do a little fine tuning. But you'll notice the airplane's pretty much just kind of sitting here now. All right. Okay, you see that big green field out there?
Yeah.
Let's point ourselves right towards that. There you go. And this is how we go from one place to another. We find something to fly to. There you go. Good. Nice catch. Now you'll notice we're a little bit high. So the way we can fix that is give it just a very slight push down. So give it just a little forward pressure. That's good right there. And you'll notice it starts to drop down. So if we want to make small little corrections, then we just make minor changes. If we want to make bigger corrections, then we're going to have to use our engine. Okay? All right, so let's make a bigger altitude change. Let's descend to 2,000 feet. So the way we do that, relax the push, take the throttle, and reduce it to about 2,100. So pull it out a little bit. There you go. Now you'll notice the airplane's going down. And we just kind of keep it in control. Let's keep heading directly to that field. There you go. And you can see we got a nice little easy descent going. Now here, let go for a moment.
Western Tower.
This is called stable.
Yankee, ready for takeoff.
Yeah, the airplane just keeps doing what you had it doing. That's what we want it to do. Okay, now start getting ready to re-increase power again.
Runway 22, proceed on course, clear for takeoff.
Right back to where we started from.
Proceed on course, 5185 Yankee.
So go ahead and start increasing back to about 2,300. So push it back in.
Refill, you want to cross runway 15?
There you go. And look at what the airplane's
cross
doing.
runway 15 via taxiway Foxtrot.
It's pretty much coming back to about level flight again. Okay? This is how we make an airplane stable. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean we might not have to make small little adjustments here and there. But this is how we stabilize the airplane. Okay? The one thing we don't want to do is have a real tight grip. Because we do, we're not able to see what it's actually doing. Just a touch. Okay?
Refill the one, Roger.
There you go. Now, you notice how it's going up a little bit? That was wind. Because watch what happens as we go through that little air pocket. You'll notice it'll start to go back down again. So that's part of flying too. Deciding when is it me or when is it her, Mother Nature. Got news for you, Mother Nature don't like to play fair. She loves to mix it up. All right, let's turn to the left. And you can see the river over here. We're going to kind of track the river. There you go. Good. Nice. There you go. And whenever you feel you're where you want to be, just bring it back to level again. There you go. Good. And we're going to kind of sort of track the main part of the river. So just sort of keep it moving the way you want it to go. There you go. Good. Now, one thing that'll help you, Ben, because you're on the left side of the airplane, where would be the best place to put that river? Yep, on your side. Okay, so turn it to the right a bit, and let's put the river on your side of the airplane. That makes it easier to track it. Either that or right in front of the nose. Okay, relax your push just a little. See? You think you were pushing it down that much? Yep. So a big key to it is kind of relax with it, noting what it's doing. If you feel pressure building, typically that's because we're doing something. There you go. Good. Now, if we were to follow this river all the way to the where it goes, we'd end up in Wilkesboro. Okay? So let's turn to the right. There you go. And let's keep coming around until we're pointed right back at Pilot Mountain again. And then we're going to climb back up. And this time we're going to climb to 3,000 feet. All right, good. So all we have to do to climb is we're simply going to give the engine all its power back again. But when we do that, our left turning tendencies are going to take over. The airplane's going to want to go to the left. So we're going to apply just enough right pressure with our feet, right rudder, so that it doesn't turn on us. Go ahead and push the engine all the way back in. Everything she's got. Notice how it's wanting to go to the left. Apply just a little bit of right foot pressure. Okay, is it all the way back in? Good. You'll notice we're climbing. Now the key is just control it, but let it fly. Now you'll notice how we're drifting a little to the left of Pilot Mountain. Apply a little more right foot pressure and then give it just a little right angle. Just so we end up pointed back at the mountain again. There you go. Okay, as we approach 3,000 feet, we're just going to put the engine back where it was at. There you go. Go ahead and bring it down. A little bit more, just a smidgen. There you go. And we sort of relax with it. And you say, okay, we climbed 1,000 feet. All right. Now the other part of dealing with landings is you're going to do this climbing and descending turns.
620 crossway 15 via taxiway Foxtrot.
So it's important to understand how that works. When we turn an aircraft, a natural descent develops. Okay? So when we want to descend and turn, we always want to turn the airplane first. Then adjust our power for the descent that we want to see. When we want to climb and turn, we do the opposite. We develop the climb first and set up the turn second. So without pulling at all, give me a turn to the right and watch what happens to the airplane. Okay? Notice how it's wanting to descend. That's because we've changed a little bit of the vertical lift to horizontal to make the turn itself. So now if we reduce a bit of power, you can see we can start turning and descending at the same time. Okay, now make the turn to the left. And you're going to see the exact same thing happens. There you go. See how that works? Now the key is
crossway 15 via taxiway Foxtrot.
Let it descend. So relax your hand a bit, just keeping that angle. See, I went right back into the descent again. And we'll level off at about 2,500. Okay. Now you can see as you take the turn out, the descent slows down. Notice how little pressure you're actually having to use on the control system. Gonna
Traffic
roll it
Agent
out.
16 Alpha has traffic in sight. We'll follow him.
Traffic 16 Alpha, your number 2, runway 22, clear to land.
Clear
Now,
to land 22, number 2.
the key to a stable approach is let the airplane fly. See how it's just sitting here? This is what's called a stable approach. We're going to take the power completely away. All right, and we're going to give it 30 degrees of wing flap. And you'll notice it really hasn't changed much.
4296 X-ray, Winston ground.
Now at this point, we're sort of letting the airplane move back and forth, but we're controlling it. See how it's descending?
96 X-ray, runway 22.
This is what's called a stable approach. Okay, as we approach the runway, we're just going to
96
level
X-ray,
it.
runway 22, taxi via taxiway Foxtrot.
Let it sit down. And go back to full power again.
November 96 X-ray, requesting flight follow.
Okay, there's our speed. Give it a little pull. And you're back in the air. Now relax. And just control. Did you see how stable it was coming down that final to the runway? That's typically what we want it to do every time. That's what's meant by a stable approach. A little bit of right rudder. There you go. And let's turn to the left, because he told us to fly left hand. Okay, roll level for a moment, and turn left again.
Pace 16 Alpha, left on Alpha to November to the southeast.
And we're going to reduce our power back
Left
down
on Alpha, right on November, southeast east.
while we continue our turn. And then we let everything stabilize. Okay, now, just like we did coming in, we want to pick something to fly to. See that water tower out there in the distance? That's a perfect point. And Winston Tower, 1451 uniform, midfield left downwind 22.
That's 51 uniform, roger, runway 22, clear for the option.
Runway 22 cleared for the option, 1451 uniform.
November 96 X-ray, squawk 2503, Greensboro, frequency will be 124.35.
All right, go ahead and turn your carb heat on. Reduce the power down to 1,500. So pull it out. Give yourself 10 degrees of wing flap. So push it down till you see the needle hit the 10. There you go. Good. Notice how it sort of nosed up a little bit? And now just control it, but let it work. There you go. All right, let's turn left. And we want a pretty sharp little turn. A little bit of left rudder. Relax your feet. There you go. Okay. And begin to roll back to level. And now give it 20 degrees of wing flap. Push down. Good.
Tower
There you
1496
go.
X-rays ready at 22.
There you go, and you can see it's just kind of flying itself.
4296
Go
X-ray,
ahead and
Winston
turn
Tower.
towards the
runway
runway.
22 for traffic.
Hold short 22, 1496 X-ray.
There you go, and we want to line up right in the middle of the runway. And again, we want the airplane doing most of the work. We don't want to be trying to hold it. Okay. I'll begin to roll out level. There we go. Now here we need loose feet, loose hands. Okay. Now we'll give it 30 degrees of flap. See how it's floating again? All we have to do is keep it in the middle of the runway. Kind of wild how this works, isn't it? Okay. Now smoothly go to pull to level. We'll let it sit down. And back to full power. There's our speed. Little pull. And there we go again. All right, go ahead and take the flaps out. So up. And back to neutral. And you can see we're going right back to what we were doing before. A little bit of right rudder pressure. There you go. And here we just want to relax. See how the airplane's flying itself? All right, let's turn left. There you go. A little bit more. Give it a little more. That's good. When flying around the runway, you'll always want to get a decent turn. And roll level. Look left. Turn left. Go ahead and turn. There you go. And we'll reduce our power back down again. Continuing our turn.
Tower 966
And just kind of relaxing.
Remember 4296 X-ray Winston.
Are we still holding short?
Yes you are. Are you ready to go? Cherokee 96 X-ray runway 22 on course approved, clear for takeoff.
On course approved, clear for takeoff 2296 X-ray.
I think the tower forgot they were there. So you can see we're right back to where we started again. And tower 1451 uniform, midfield, runway 22.
That's 1451 uniform, runway 22, clear for the option.
Runway 22 cleared for the option, 1451 uniform. So do you see what's meant by a stable approach? We should always be able just to let go. All right, turn your carb heat on. Reduce the power to 1,500. So pull it out. And give it 10 degrees of wing flap again. There you go. Okay, and you'll notice it re-stabilizes just like it did before. Sometimes it gets a little boring. All right, go that way. There you go. A little bit of left rudder, stay coordinated. There you go. Give yourself 20 degrees of wing flap. As you get into the turn, there you go. Good. Roll out level. Let the airplane stabilize. Haven't we been here before? All right, now start an easy turn towards the runway itself. Usually this final turn you don't want as steep as the first two, because you're getting lower, you're getting slower. All right. Okay, go ahead and reduce power to idle. Pull it all the way out. Give it 30 degrees of wing flap. And note what it's doing. See how it's just floating. Now all we have to do is use our feet to stay pointed down the center of the runway. We use our power to control our descent. And we use this to control the speed. Okay. Go ahead and start raising the nose to level. And flare. Okay, using our feet to stay centered, small and smooth. And here we go again. And pull. Just lightly, and up she goes. There we go. Okay, go ahead and take your flaps back out. There you go. And we'll set up our climb attitude. A little bit of right rudder. Way you can see your rudder usage, Ben. Wherever that ball is, simply step on it to put it back in the middle. So if it's off to the right, you'd push on the right. If it's off to the left, you'd push left. All right, let's turn left. There you go, good. Okay. Bring her back to level. Look to your left to make sure nobody's there. Turn left and reduce the power down to 2,000. So pull it out of there. There you go. Good. And we wait for everything to stabilize again. And I could have swore we were just here. You see, flying this pattern thing is not really that difficult. Most of it is let the airplane do the work for you. The more you have the airplane doing the work, the easier it becomes to fly it. And Tower 1451 uniform, midfield 22, full stop.
2-X, Spruce, change Spruce. 5-1 uniform, clear for the option, runway 22, I'm sorry.
Runway 22 cleared for the option, 1451 uniform. All right, carburetor heat. Power to 1,500. Flaps to 10. There you go. And let her fly. Okay, let's turn left. There you go. Is to touch on the left rudder. Go ahead and bring her on over. There you go. And roll her back to level. Set your flaps at 20. Good. Let her re-stabilize and turn towards the runway. There you go. Good. Oh, don't you love the late evening sun? And roll level for just a moment, because you can see how we're turning inside a little.
357 Echo Sierra, Winston Tower.
Now turn on into the runway. There you go.
357 Echo Sierra, runway 33, taxi out.
All right, bring the power down to idle. Go all the way out. Flaps to 30. There you go. We're going to let her float to the runway. So here, you're just using your feet. The front of the airplane's pointed directly down the center. Your left and right moves you left and right. And then your pitch attitude controls your airspeed. Now we're just floating to the runway. Okay. Start easing the nose to level, so pull back a little bit. See how we're floating? And then we're going to flare. Now at this point, we want to keep pulling, because we want to use the airplane as a brake without using the wheel brakes any more than necessary. See how the airplane's slowing itself down? And then we're done. Okay, now we want to do our after landing. Come back one page, right there. And tower 1451 uniform, taxi ramp.
This is 145 in uniform, taxi to the ramp. You have a good day.
Taxi ramp, and you also. All right, go ahead and do everything it says, so bring the flaps up. Okay, there you go. Transponder stays where it's at for the moment. Go ahead and turn your landing light off. Okay, mixture, bring it out one end. A little bit more. And we already got our clearance. Because he said, okay, you can go to the ramp. Now we just go into the ramp. Did you see how important having a stable approach to the runway is? When we do that, we set that up. Go ahead and steer with your feet. When we set that up, we can anticipate what the airplane's going to do for us. And we're going to kind of head right back where we started from. And then we go full right pedal, just a light touch on the brake. And then straighten ourselves out. Okay, now we want to go through the shutdown procedure. Okay, avionics, go ahead and turn them off.